Emma Carter lived in a quiet town in Oregon, United States. At 22 years old, she was known throughout the town for her extraordinary beauty. Her long golden hair shimmered under the sunlight, her green eyes sparkled like emeralds, and her warm smile could brighten anyone's day. People often admired her appearance, but those who truly knew Emma understood that her kindness was even more remarkable than her beauty. Emma lived with her father, Robert Carter, a widowed schoolteacher who had raised her alone since she was a child. Their small house sat near the edge of a vast forest that stretched for miles beyond the town. Growing up, Emma had always been fascinated by the woods. While others feared the dense trees and mysterious sounds that echoed through them at night, she often wandered along the forest trails, finding peace among nature. The townspeople, however, believed strange stories about the forest. For generations, rumors had circulated about a mysterious creature living deep within the woods. Some described it as a beast. Others claimed it was a wild man who looked more like a monkey than a human. No one seemed to know the truth. Parents warned their children to stay away. Hunters avoided venturing too far into the forest. Many people swore they had seen a large shadow moving among the trees late at night. Emma never paid much attention to these stories. She believed most legends grew larger with each retelling. One autumn afternoon, while helping her father gather supplies from a neighboring town, a sudden storm rolled across the mountains. Dark clouds covered the sky, and heavy rain began falling. As they hurried home, their horse became frightened by a loud clap of thunder. The animal bolted. The wagon tipped dangerously. Emma was thrown into the mud while the horse disappeared into the forest carrying many of their belongings. "Emma," her father shouted. "I'm okay," she replied. Robert was injured slightly during the accident and could barely walk. Emma insisted that he return home and rest while she searched for the horse before darkness fell. Reluctantly, he agreed. With a lantern in her hand, Emma followed the tracks into the forest. The deeper she traveled, the heavier the rain became. The familiar trails soon disappeared. Towering trees surrounded her on every side. Thunder echoed overhead. For the first time, she felt uneasy. Hours seemed to pass as she searched. Eventually she spotted hoofprints leading toward an area she had never explored before. As she followed them, she noticed something unusual. A large stone wall appeared through the trees. Her eyes widened. Hidden among the forest stood an enormous mansion. It looked ancient. Vines covered the walls. Many windows were broken. Yet despite its age, the building seemed strangely beautiful. Emma stared in disbelief. She had lived near these woods her entire life and had never heard of such a place. Another burst of thunder shook the sky. The rain intensified. Seeing no other shelter nearby, she approached the mansion. The massive front doors stood closed. She hesitated before knocking. For several moments, nothing happened. Then the doors slowly creaked open. Emma froze. Standing before her was the most unusual person she had ever seen. He was incredibly tall. His broad shoulders filled the doorway. Dark hair covered much of his body and face. His features looked partly human and partly animal. At first glance, he resembled the creature from the town legends. Fear shot through her chest. The stranger looked equally surprised to see her. Neither spoke. The rain continued pouring behind her. Finally, the stranger broke the silence. "You shouldn't be out here alone." His voice was deep but calm. Emma blinked. She had expected something frightening. Instead, his tone sounded gentle. "My horse ran away," she explained nervously. "I got lost." The stranger studied her for a moment. Then he stepped aside. "You'll get sick standing in the rain." Emma hesitated. Every warning she had ever heard echoed inside her mind. Yet something about him felt different from the monster described in local stories. Slowly, she entered the mansion. The doors closed behind her. Inside, the building was surprisingly warm. A large fireplace burned brightly. Books lined the walls. Elegant furniture filled the rooms. Everything appeared old but carefully maintained. Emma could hardly believe what she was seeing. This wasn't the home of a wild beast. It looked like the residence of someone educated and refined. The stranger handed her a dry blanket. "Thank you," she said quietly. He nodded. "You can stay until the storm passes." Emma wrapped herself in the blanket while studying him carefully. Up close, his appearance remained startling. His face was covered with thick dark hair. His hands looked unusually large. His features possessed an animal-like quality unlike anyone she had ever seen. Yet his eyes caught her attention. They were intelligent, kind, and strangely sad. "I'm Emma," she said. The stranger remained silent for a moment. Then he replied, "My name is Adrian." The name surprised her. She had expected something less ordinary. As the evening continued, Adrian prepared tea and food. Emma watched him move around the kitchen. Despite his unusual appearance, his manners were impeccable. He spoke politely. He listened attentively. He treated her with respect. The more time passed, the more confused she became. How could the terrifying creature from local legends behave so differently? Eventually curiosity overcame her fear. "Do you live here alone?" she asked. "Yes." "For how long?" "Most of my life." Emma frowned. "Why doesn't anyone know about this place?" A shadow crossed Adrian's face. "They know enough." His answer suggested painful memories. Emma decided not to press further. As the storm continued outside, they talked. To her surprise, Adrian possessed extensive knowledge about literature, history, music, and science. He had read hundreds of books. He spoke thoughtfully about the world beyond the forest. Emma found herself enjoying the conversation. Hours passed quickly. For the first time since meeting him, she forgot about his appearance. She began seeing the person behind it. When the rain finally stopped, Adrian escorted her outside. To her amazement, her horse stood safely nearby. "I found him earlier," Adrian explained. "He was frightened but unharmed." Emma smiled. "Thank you." For a brief moment, their eyes met. Something unexpected stirred inside her chest. A feeling she couldn't explain. Then she quickly looked away. The next morning, Emma returned home. Her father was relieved to see her safe. When she described the mansion, however, his expression changed. "You met him?" Emma nodded. "He wasn't dangerous." Robert sighed heavily. "People have been talking about that man for years." "Why?" "No one really knows who he is." "What happened to him?" "Different stories exist." Emma thought about Adrian's lonely eyes. None of the rumors suddenly seemed trustworthy. Over the following days, she found herself thinking about him constantly. She remembered their conversation, his intelligence, his kindness, the sadness hidden behind his calm demeanor. Eventually curiosity became impossible to ignore. One afternoon, she returned to the mansion. Adrian seemed genuinely surprised to see her. "I wasn't sure you'd come back." Emma smiled. "Neither was I." From that day forward, their friendship slowly grew. She visited several times each week. They walked through the forest together. They discussed books. He played piano while she listened. Sometimes they sat for hours simply talking. For the first time in many years, Adrian seemed happy. And for the first time in her life, Emma felt truly understood. Yet as their bond deepened, the town began noticing her frequent absences. People started whispering. Rumors spread quickly. Many warned Emma to stay away from Adrian. Others claimed she was risking her life. One man in particular seemed especially disturbed. His name was Jason Miller. He was wealthy, handsome, and widely admired throughout town. For years, Jason had hoped to marry Emma. Although she had always been polite to him, she never returned his romantic interest. When he learned she was spending time with Adrian, jealousy consumed him. One evening he confronted her. "Why are you wasting time with that creature?" Jason demanded. Emma frowned. "Don't call him that. You actually care about him. He's a good person." Jason laughed bitterly. "Look at him, Emma." She stared directly into his eyes. "I have." Jason's expression darkened. At that moment, Emma realized something important. Jason possessed everything society considered attractive. Yet Adrian showed more kindness in a single day than Jason displayed in months. The realization unsettled her, because deep inside her heart, a feeling was beginning to grow. A feeling far stronger than friendship. And with every visit to the mansion, it became harder to ignore. One evening, as the sun disappeared behind the mountains, Emma stood beside Adrian overlooking a lake hidden deep within the forest. The water reflected the golden colors of the sky. Neither spoke for several minutes. Finally Adrian broke the silence. "Why do you keep coming back?" Emma looked at him. "What do you mean? You've seen me." His voice was quiet. "You know what I look like." Pain filled his eyes. "Most people run away." Emma's heart tightened. She realized how deeply loneliness had affected him. Slowly, she stepped closer. "I come back because of who you are." Adrian stared at her. For the first time, hope appeared in his eyes. But neither of them knew that danger was already beginning to gather around them. And soon, both their lives would change forever. End of part 1. The following weeks passed like a beautiful dream for Emma. Every chance she got, she visited Adrian's mansion hidden deep within the forest. What had started as curiosity slowly transformed into something far deeper. She found herself looking forward to every conversation, every walk through the woods, and every moment spent in his company. Adrian changed as well. For years, he had lived in isolation, believing the world would never accept him. Most people judged him the moment they saw his appearance. Some called him a monster. Others treated him like a frightening legend rather than a human being. But Emma never looked at him that way. She listened to him. She respected him. Most importantly, she saw the goodness inside him. One snowy evening, Emma arrived carrying a basket of homemade cookies. Adrian smiled as she entered. The sight warmed her heart. When she had first met him, he rarely smiled at all. Now she saw it often. "You seem happy today," she said. "I was waiting for you." Emma felt her cheeks grow warm. For a moment, neither spoke. Their eyes met. Something had changed between them. Neither could deny it anymore. That night they sat beside the fireplace while snow fell outside the windows. The mansion felt warm and peaceful. Emma looked around. "You know," she said softly, "this place doesn't feel lonely anymore." Adrian looked at her. "It isn't." The simple answer made her heart beat faster. As winter passed and spring arrived, their bond became even stronger. They explored hidden waterfalls deep in the forest. They watched sunsets from mountain cliffs. They shared stories about their lives. Emma told Adrian about her childhood. Adrian told her things he had never told anyone. One afternoon, while sitting beside the lake, Emma finally gathered the courage to ask a question that had been on her mind for months. "What happened to you?" Adrian stared at the water. For a long time he remained silent. Finally, he spoke. "I wasn't born this way." Emma listened carefully. "My mother died when I was very young. My father was a wealthy man who cared only about power and status. One day a woman came asking for help during a terrible winter storm. He paused. My father refused her." Emma frowned. "Why?" "He believed she was beneath him." The sadness in Adrian's voice grew deeper. "The woman wasn't ordinary." "What do you mean?" Adrian slowly looked at her. "She possessed abilities beyond normal understanding." Emma's eyes widened. "A witch?" "Something like that." He nodded. "Before she left, she cursed my father." The room became silent. "The curse eventually passed to me." Emma felt her chest tighten. "So you've lived like this your entire life?" "Almost." "Is there a way to break it?" Adrian smiled sadly. "There is." Emma leaned forward. "What is it?" Adrian hesitated. "True love." Emma's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" "The curse can only be broken if someone genuinely loves me despite my appearance." The room fell silent. Emma looked into his eyes. For the first time, she realized how impossible that must have seemed. Years had passed. No one had stayed. No one had looked beyond what they saw. Until now. Before she could speak, Adrian stood up. "You should go home. It's getting late." Emma left that night with countless thoughts racing through her mind. The truth about Adrian only made her care about him more. Days later, trouble arrived. Jason Miller's jealousy had grown unbearable. He watched Emma spend more and more time with Adrian. Every day fueled his anger. One evening, he gathered several men from town. "They've all been fooled," Jason said. "The creature has manipulated Emma." Many people already feared Adrian. Jason used that fear to his advantage. He exaggerated stories. He spread lies. He convinced people that Adrian was dangerous. Soon, a crowd began demanding action. Meanwhile, Emma knew nothing about Jason's plans. She spent another peaceful afternoon with Adrian near the lake. As the sun began setting, Adrian suddenly looked uneasy. "What is it?" Emma asked. "I feel like something is wrong." Before either could say more, distant shouting echoed through the forest. Both froze. Voices. Many voices. Then came the glow of torches. Emma's eyes widened. "No." Adrian immediately understood. "They found me." The shouting grew louder. Jason emerged from the trees followed by dozens of townspeople. Some carried lanterns. Others carried weapons. Their faces were filled with fear and anger. "There he is," someone shouted. Emma stepped in front of Adrian. "Stop." Jason ignored her. "Move aside, Emma." "No." The crowd hesitated. Jason pointed toward Adrian. "Look at him. He isn't dangerous." Emma cried. "He's been lying to all of you." Adrian remained calm despite the hostility surrounding him. Jason stepped forward. "You don't belong here." Emma stood her ground. "Leave him alone." For a brief moment it seemed the situation might calm down. Then someone threw a stone. It struck Adrian's shoulder. The crowd erupted. Everything happened at once. People rushed forward. Chaos spread through the clearing. Adrian protected Emma while trying not to hurt anyone. But the mob continued advancing. During the struggle, Jason grabbed Emma. "Come with me." She pulled away. "No." Jason's face twisted with anger. "You choose him over me." Yes. The answer shocked everyone, including Adrian. Emma looked directly at Jason. I love him. Silence fell. Even the crowd stopped moving. Adrian stared at her in disbelief. Emma's heart pounded, but she knew it was true. She loved him, not because of what he looked like, because of who he was. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Jason lost control. Furious, he lunged toward Adrian. The two collided. A violent struggle followed. Emma screamed. The crowd backed away. Adrian refused to fight aggressively. Jason showed no such restraint. In his rage, he attacked recklessly. The fight moved toward a steep cliff overlooking the lake. Rain began falling. Thunder echoed overhead. The scene felt almost unreal. Finally, Jason slipped. His footing disappeared beneath him. He tumbled dangerously toward the edge. Adrian immediately grabbed him. Despite everything, he refused to let him die. Jason looked stunned. Why are you helping me? Adrian strained to hold him. Because your life matters too. Those words changed everything. The crowd watched in silence. The monster they feared was risking his life to save the man trying to destroy him. At that moment, people finally saw the truth. Adrian wasn't the beast. Hatred was. Several men rushed forward and helped pull Jason to safety. The storm continued raging. Emma ran to Adrian. Tears filled her eyes. You could have been killed. Adrian smiled gently. But I wasn't. Then something extraordinary happened. A brilliant light suddenly surrounded him. Everyone stepped back. The air seemed to shimmer. The ground beneath them glowed. Emma stared in shock. Adrian looked down at his hands. The thick hair covering them began disappearing. His features slowly changed. The transformation continued before everyone's eyes. The curse was breaking. Emma realized why. She had spoken the truth. Her love had been genuine. And it had fulfilled the condition of the curse. The light grew brighter. Moments later, it vanished completely. The crowd gasped. Standing before them was a man unlike anyone they had ever seen. Tall, strong, handsome, his kind eyes remained unchanged. But the curse was gone. Emma could barely speak. Adrian, he smiled. For the first time in his life, he looked exactly as he had always felt inside. Free. The forest fell silent. Even Jason seemed unable to believe what he was seeing. The years of loneliness, the fear, the rejection, all of it was finally over. Adrian slowly approached Emma. Tears filled both their eyes. You stayed when everyone else left. Emma smiled through her tears. I always will. Adrian gently took her hand. I love you, Emma. The words she had waited so long to hear filled her heart with joy. I love you too. The crowd watched quietly. No one spoke, because they all understood something important. The real miracle wasn't Adrian's transformation. The miracle was that someone had loved him before it happened. Months later, life in the town looked very different. Adrian was no longer feared. People came to know the kind and intelligent man he truly was. The mansion became a place filled with laughter rather than loneliness. Children visited the gardens. Families attended gatherings. The old legends slowly disappeared. And in their place grew a new story. A story about kindness. A story about seeing beyond appearances. A story about a woman who looked into someone's heart and discovered a love stronger than fear. 1 year later, on a beautiful summer evening, friends and family gathered beside the lake deep within the forest. The setting sun painted the water gold. Flowers lined the shore. Music filled the air. Emma stood wearing a beautiful white dress. Adrian waited beneath an arch covered in roses. As she walked toward him, she remembered the stormy night when she had first knocked on the mansion door. Neither of them could have imagined where that moment would lead. When they finally stood together, their eyes met. The same feeling they had shared beside the fireplace, beside the lake, and beneath countless sunsets remained stronger than ever. They exchanged vows. They promised to stand beside one another through every challenge. And as the sun disappeared below the horizon, they began the next chapter of their lives together. Years later, people still spoke about their story. Not because of the curse. Not because of the mansion. Not because of the transformation. But because it reminded everyone of a simple truth. Real love begins when someone sees your soul before they see your face. The end.